Would you please start off with the roll call, please?
Mr. Prince.
Here.
Mr. Corman.
Here.
Mr. Pavoni.
Here.
Ms. Perez.
Here.
Mr. McIrvin.
Here.
Ms. Switchy.
Here.
Mr. Person.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you, Jason. As everybody knows, there's a special event occurring this evening, so that's why we have some standing room only people in the background. I'd like to ask everybody to rise for the presentation of the colors by the Renton Police Department Honor Guard. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Ceremonial about 8. Ready? See. Cut. About pace. Over. Pump. About pace.
Could you please stand? Please repeat after me. I, Ed Van Bailey,
I, Ed Van Bailey,
affirm that I possess all of the qualifications
affirm that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed in the Renton Municipal Code
prescribed in the Renton Municipal Code
for the position of Chief of Police,
for the position of Chief of Police,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington
and the Constitution and the laws of the State of Washington
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Renton,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Renton,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I would bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and defend them against enemies foreign and domestic,
and defend them against enemies foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of a peace officer
and that I will faithfully
and impartially.
and impartially discharge the duties
It is a little long. Of a peace officer.
of a police officer,
And that I will faithfully conduct myself as Chief of Police of the Renton Police Department
and that I will faithfully conduct myself as Chief of Police of the Renton Police
to
Department
the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, Ed.
Thank you, sir.
The audience may be seated. Uniform members of the department, please remain standing and follow commands. Uniform members, honor guard. Present arms. Order arms. Uniform members, at ease. Thank you. Honor guard. Up, read, press.
Thank you, Honor Guard. Thank you, members. Just a few words that I have to say. I timed this, and it should only take about 25 minutes. Maybe half that. All right. Thank you, Council President Prince, Mayor Law, and council members. Before we begin, I would like to give a special thank you to some people who made this all possible. Mayor Dennis Law, sir, thank you for your support, belief, and trust in me. The challenges with this opportunity are great and constant. As great as they are, I feel our effort, progress, and success will be even greater. To the council, your decision to support me as your chief is more than appreciated. In the climate of today, law enforcement agencies are working hard to build trust and transparency with their communities Some do it because they have to. Renton does it because we want to. Your faith in me is not lost nor taken for granted. You have selected someone from the community. In time, you will see, like you, I put the safety and security of our citizens, our families, above all else. Thank you. To my new best friends, the city administrators. Bob, Jan, Kelly, Chip, Greg, Preety, Shane, and Ellen. Your support in my selection and appointment was very much appreciated. Renton's success is the result of those groups and individuals already mentioned, but is also in large part the result of your professionalism, dedication, and your competency. I am honored to sit next to each of you at the table and assist in maintaining Renton's status as the best city in King County. Thank you. Let me begin by saying that I am more than honored to be serving as your police chief. I'm so very fortunate to have the opportunity this evening to share this very special event with my family, friends, and members of this community. Most of my family and friends are with us tonight, and I would like to bring special attention to one, my mother, Joanne Van Bailey. My parents moved to Renton in the early 1960s. Originally from West Virginia, they stopped here after my mother and father both received jobs in the area. My father with UNIVAC and my mother with this oddly wagon-shaped wheeled hospital called Valley Medical, where she served as a registered nurse. I'm the youngest of three boys. My mother worked at the hospital pulling a graveyard shift so that she could be with us in the morning and for dinner each night. While the boys were at school, she slept. My brothers and I find it hard trying to remember time when Mom wasn't there, with us in the morning or making dinner every single night. I'm so glad she's here to see what all that hard work, patience, and sacrifice created. Thank you, Mom. I love you. I immensely appreciate the opportunity that is being afforded me to serve as the chief of the Renton Police Department. I'm fully committed to giving everything I have to this department, the amazing men and women under my command, and the residents of this city I call home. I have been very fortunate in my life to be raised in this great city. I have had many great moments here, some I can share, and maybe a few that I shouldn't. My junior year of high school, my friend and I decided to do a government paper on the Renton Police Department. There were a small piece of our local government, and the profession was being highlighted by this amazing new TV series called Cops. To say I was hooked on the police profession is an understatement. I completed my paper, which if I had to guess was almost certain and astounding at average or a tad below. But I found what I thought for sure would be my career. That summer, I began working with the city of Renton. I worked for the Parks Department at Coulon Beach. I was given a yellow 5-gallon bucket and received 3 intense minutes of instructions on the proper way to pull weeds from the tree beds. Maybe it was 2 minutes. I continued to work for the Parks Department in a part-time status over the next 7 years. During breaks from school and the military, I was always welcomed by the full-time staff there and developed many great relationships that continue today. Picking to work for Renton was not a mistake. While working in the Parks Department, I would occasionally see the police department drive through the park. I was impressed by the uniform, the outdoors, and the fact that they solved problems. What kind of problems, I wouldn't truly understand until I actually became an officer. Like the time I was dispatched to a house to remove a raccoon that someone let in their kitchen. Police work. Still too young to join, I decided to do everything I could to give me the best chance of becoming an officer in Renton. I went to college to get a degree in law and justice. I knew a degree was not needed, but felt it would give me an advantage over other candidates. I joined the Army. This would teach me discipline, pay for college, and perhaps give me a skill other than law enforcement. I graduated from college, and there was an immediate opening in the Renton Parks Department. I was 23, and I felt I could spend some more time in the pressure cooker that was Coulon Beach. I applied for and received the job with the parks. Maybe a year later, while sitting in the maintenance shop, I observed a Renton police car driving through the park. I always enjoyed seeing Renton PD drive through. It was still my goal, I just wasn't sure if I was ready. As the patrol car drove out of the park, I looked at the driver. In the driver's seat of the patrol car was someone I knew. I knew this individual. In high school, he was a very good friend of my brother Max. It was Jeff Harden. He's here tonight. If Jeff could do it, I should do it, and I should do it now.
Jeff, you
months
get
later-
the next 5 minutes.
Almost done. 8 months later, I was sitting in Chief Gary Anderson's office. He was flanked by Deputy Chief Don Person, and Commander Dennis Gerber. Chief Anderson said at that time Renton Police were not average. They were above average. Boy, was he right. From day one, the cast of characters I met in the department impressed me. It is unfair for me to tell stories, as most of them probably wouldn't remember, but as a young officer seeing the inner workings of the PD, I was soaking it all in. Chief Kevin Milosevic was a commander at the time. He was the first commander I met and immediately impressed me. He was kind, articulate, and took the time to describe the investigations division to a rookie. I remember thinking he was a quality person. I never would have imagined he would change my life when he appointed me deputy chief 15 years later. Thanks, Chief. Thank you for the support, the guidance, and the friendship. I fully recognize that the position of police chief, incorporates so much more than simply acting as an agency head. With this position comes a great deal of responsibility to the agency and to the community. There are simple and evident expectations associated with this position, including such responsibilities as analyzing police issues within the city, formulating policies and rules within the organization, and overseeing that the laws of this state are administered and enforced impartially and fairly by our officers. While police chiefs set the mission statement for the agency, it is the personnel that work for the agency that set the standard. Renton has the finest. The position of police officer has certainly changed over the last couple of decades, and so have the expectations of the public. The amount of new laws, directives, and guidelines to follow and abide by has increased dramatically over the years. The profession has gotten more complex. In addition, technology and transparency are at the forefront of most police agencies. Our agency will embrace this technology and continue to research and utilize new tools to combat crime and serve the public. Although the law enforcement job is very rewarding at times, there are those times that it can be very difficult on those that wear the uniform. Besides the common physical stressors of shift work and requirements to work holidays or major events, there are emotional stressors resulting from incidents many of us first responders here in this room wish we'd never had to experience. Unfortunately, oftentimes these stressors take its toll on families of first responders as well. No matter how dangerous a situation may be or what they may face, members of law enforcement are expected to handle it professionally and accordingly. In those critical incidents, whether it's life-saving or possibly life-giving, I am confident that Renton officers know what is exactly expected of them and will not hesitate 1 second to do what may be necessary, no matter what threat they face or the effects it may have on them personally. I've seen each of them do it. Like with most organizations, though, the most important asset and component are the people you have working for and, more importantly, with you. I've worked directly with most of the officers in our Renton throughout my career in different capacities. Not only are these officers trained, skilled, and very capable in their responsibilities, but they understand the principles of law enforcement. I want to steal a page from Chief Milo's book. He used this quite often. The principles of law enforcement have been around since the beginning of policing in 1829. With the inventor of modern policing, Sir Robert Peel, most of the 9 principles he created can be summed up in just one. Police at all times should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition that the police are the public and the public are the police. The police being the only members of the public who are to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent on every citizen in the interests of community welfare and existence. These 9 principles and the one quoted eventually transformed into the simplified role of what is expected of law enforcement: protect and serve. It is our relationship with the community, the businesses, the schools, and the entire fabric of Renton, which is always our top concern. I believe we have done a great job over the years forming these important relationships under the leadership of Chief Milosevic. This is something that we will continue to strive upon. To wrap this up, and before the cake dries out, I want to make you aware of our commitments. We will continue to be vigilant and proactive in locking up people who break the law, especially those people who victimize others. We will continue to show compassion and empathy to individuals who are in need and have called us for help or assistance, and will either provide them assistance or get them help that they need. We will continue to strive for new ways to improve on how we can better serve the needs of this great community. I will continue to pledge my service, time, and effort in taking care of the men and women of the department who will be the main effort of the commitments I mentioned, and their families. I truly love and respect each and every member of the Renton Police Department. With your support and guidance, you have created the finest law enforcement agency in the region. This is not just something I believe or say, it is proven. We are reaching staffing levels that surpass our neighboring agencies. This is a result of your support with the lateral officer bonus and take-home car program. Both of these programs are being developed and attempted throughout the state. Renton was the first. We lead in our efforts of technology by use of UAV drone and parking enforcement vehicles. Our detectives are often applauded by Valley agencies as they lead some of the toughest investigations when it comes to officer-involved incidents. Our front counter handles thousands of records requests each year with minimal staffing, additional duties, and they still answer the phone with an enthusiastic, "Good morning, Renton Police, how can I help you?" Their success and talent is not lost on me, and it is not because of me. It was encouraged and supported by all of us, council, mayor, citizens. I will do my best, and then a little more, to take care of these amazing people who take care of some amazing people, the community of Renton. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Person section. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
We can't follow a presentation of that magnitude with a public hearing, so if the council has no objections, I'd like to recommend we recess for 15 minutes to go to the reception.
Mr. Mayor, so moved.
Yes. It's moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we recess for 15 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.